Gaze into my eyes. You're now under my spell. The future is foretold to me. Within this episode, you will hear tales of great adversity and great triumph. For the psychic gem of Saffron City beckons. If I sense some confusion, perhaps you have not listened to the previous tales of the two great Pokémon trainers, John and Finn, as they embark on their journey across the Kanto region. But fear not, for episodes 1 to 4 of this adventure are available at youtube.com/CouchCapades and podcast services around the globe.
Yeah, I just want to order a pizza. I didn't know I called Miss Cleo. I'm sorry. A pizza, pineapple on it. That's cool. Does that sound good?
Silence! Prepare yourself, because episode 5 of Now to Play Pokemon Red and Blue is upon us! Alright, so last episode, we were going through the rock tunnel, we hit Lavender Town, we were in the Pokemon Tower, and we came up against a bunch of ghost Pokemon, had a good discussion about what the hell those things are. We both lost a fair share of money at the casino in Celadon City. Then we busted into the underground rocket hideout that was running this operation to exact some revenge. So that was fun. Came up against Giovanni, he was a disappointment, we talked about that. I lost a couple of Pokemon. Rest in peace to Charlie the Eradicate and Indy the Eggins. We'll miss you forever. And in the end, we both got our hands on the rainbow badge from Erica. And I should also say that in between episodes, we did that trade that we were kind of hinting at last time, where you sent me Maxilla, your Cubone, and I sent you Grift, my Ghastly. So that was done. I'll throw that up on screen now. Oh, yeah, and also... we did a touch trade for your your Kadabra that became an Alakazam. So Neo's an Alakazam now. Big moment for them.
Really happy with that trade. Fantastic.
I love the idea that Kadabra had a spoon and now this thing has 2 spoons.
Where did it come from?
Its brain this is the Pokedex talking. Its brain can outperform a supercomputer. Its intelligence quotient is said to be 5,000. Alakazam's brain continually grows, making its head far too heavy to support its head far too heavy to be supported by its neck. So the Pokemon holds up its own head using its psychic powers.
Damn, just all. And I love that because with Psyduck, because his psychic powers cause him to have a migraine. As someone who suffers from migraine, I really connect with Psyduck now. Mm-hmm. But it's just so funny. Like Alakazam's head is so big and his brain's so powerful that he has to use psychic power to leave it up there. And then here's Psyduck, like, screaming in pain because of his psychic power, because his mind is so, I don't want to say broken, but just so fast, and it's just causing him pain, and he's just, unfortunately, hurting so much.
I find one of my favorite Pokedex entries for this coming from, I believe this is from Ultra Moon. This is about Alakazam. If it trusts someone deeply, it will let them have one of its spoons. Anything you eat with that spoon is apparently delicious. So maybe if you're nice enough to Neo, they'll give you a spoon. Just the idea of, like, not even saying anything, just like, oh. Take.
Well, actually, wouldn't he be talking to it, like, telepathy?
Through the mind. Yeah, through the mind.
Through the mind. Yeah. So he'd be like, hey. I don't know what how you doing?
Like a radio host. Hey, this is Alakazam, cats and kittens.
This is Alakazam coming to you from your own mind.
Yeah. Oh, we got a traffic update coming. Saffron City.
You need to stop talking about that right now, John. Here's the spoon of trust.
Yeah, good stuff. So we did Celadon. We have the Pokeflute from Mr. Fuji. We now have the world kind of a lot more open to us. And you talked about last week, you did actually go and use the Pokeflute on the Snorlax that was down on Route 12. I hadn't done that. That was the first thing I did this time. So I went down. The bridge on Route 12 is known as Silence Bridge, which kind of sounds creepy, and I guess it's like connected to Lavender Town, so it's kind of creepy.
Yeah, I guess, and you don't want to be talking if everyone was a fisherman.
Yeah,
so you want to kind of keep it quiet
on fishing. Then it's
so
going to be
that makes sense.
But yeah, I woke up this Snorlax. He was fairly grumpy. And yeah, it was kind of a tussle because Snorlax has rest. It has some good moves. What I did was what did I do? I had Gigi in my party.
Okay.
And Gigi has Screech, which lowers your no, that's not what I used. I used Groil. Groil lowers your attack. So I lowered this thing's attack right down to the minimum. I paralyzed it. And so like it's really weak. It's doing like no damage to me at all. So like I can throw as many Pokeballs as this thing as I want, and I'm not in really any danger.
Yeah.
It threw out a headbutt, and the headbutt crit, and Gigi went down to 3 health. It did survive, but I swapped him out then.
Does your heart stop?
Yeah.
When that happens?
John, its attack was brought down to the minimum. I brought it down its attack 6 times, and still this thing nearly killed Gigi.
It's insane. I'm with you. Like I got a self-destruct, and I saw it. Like I am now fearful of any Voltorb or Electrode or Geodude.
They like to do a Screech before the self-destruct as well, which brings down your defense.
Oh my god, I had one. It was doing that. Like it did it 4 times, and I'm like, it's coming. And I was like, I think I need. I had a plan of attack, and I was like, I can't do this. I have to give someone else who has higher HP right now who hasn't been hit yet. And I threw them in there to take that explosion. But I've never had my heart stop so much than this session that we're going through right now. It was chaos.
Yeah. So I did eventually bring down that Snorlax, and I caught it. And I called it Andre after Andre the Giant. Skipping ahead, we might not even talk about it next week. There's another Snorlax you fight on the left-hand side of Celadon City. I didn't catch this one. I just wanted to have a heavyweight showdown with 15s and this giant Snorlax. And it was just a case of this Snorlax resting, recovering health, and just Wigglytuff constantly body slamming onto this Snorlax.
That's awesome.
And I like the idea of like 15 seeing Snorlax and how huge it is, and like buffing itself up to look just as big as it because it can inflate the air in, and it's like, I'm as big as you. That was a heavyweight showdown. That was like a 30 turn, just like constant bang, bang, bang.
Oh my god!
Yeah, it was awesome. I loved it. Felt so good to kill that big Snorlax. But anyway, where were we? Yeah, sure. So Saffron City is where we're heading next to get that next badge. So let's go there. It's described as a sprawling metropolis, and the city exalts itself with the slogan, the shining golden land of commerce. I think, like, in some like development notes, it's supposed to be based off of Tokyo. Like, this is supposed to be the big capital city of Kanto. As we go there, Team Rocket are prowling the streets, and as part of an ongoing operation to capture Silph Co, a massive enterprise within its HQ. It has its HQ in Saffron City, so that they're up to some shenanigans there. You walk into this place; it's a huge office, tops out at 11 floors, which Celadon department store is big, and it was like 5 floors. This is 11. The company are the leading manufacturer of Pokémon technology in the world. We already used one of their products in the Silph Scope when we were identifying the ghosts last episode, so that's pretty high-tech equipment, but it's not the only thing they make. The building's currently on lockdown, so like you walk into this lobby and it's massive, and it has this like big double fountain, which is really weird. It's one of those things where it's like, obviously it can only be so detailed in pixel art, but I imagine it being like the Silph Scope, like the pair of goggles, because it's like 2 circles, right, like next to each other. It could be 2 Pokeballs, but I thought it would be like, I thought that was a nice little touch.
Huh. I missed that. Like, I went around it, and I was like, oh, this is actually really, really cool, but I never thought about the idea of it being the scope itself. Yeah, I like that.
The building's on lockdown. There's all these like doors, like these big metal grates that are like blocking off areas. So it's kind of hard to navigate through. There's an elevator that will take us to different floors, but we can't access all the rooms. Except for the fact that this company has teleport pads all over the place, which is just baller.
It's awesome, and it upset the shit out of me.
Why?
Because okay, so we have ADA and like OSHA here in the States, where you have to follow specific rules. Like ADA rules say you have to have, I think it's 33 inches of clearance in an aisle. That way a handicap or a wheelchair can go through. And so I was thinking to myself as I'm running around here going, how does that teleporter truly work? And like, why would you do that? Why would you set up a teleporter in your office building that does it, that an elevator just doesn't do? Because the inconvenience of me having to remember every single one of these teleporters, if I was a worker there at Silph Co, I'd have been like, okay, the one in Jerry's office or Jim's office, that takes me to floor 6. But Susan's teleports me to Jim. But if I jump, and I was just, why would I, if Silph Co is this brilliant, forward-facing, leading in technology, that is one of the dumbest things I would have ever seen.
It could also be, right, so when we get to the gym later, skipping ahead a little bit, they also have teleport pads for their gym, which is like meant to be a barrier. You'd have to think that those teleport pads were developed at Silph Co, and like they're the psychic gym is like using it from them or like bought it from them or whatever. Maybe they were just like testing them. Maybe that was just a product they were testing. They had a few lying around, and once Team Rocket came in, locked down the building, they threw them everywhere.
They started throwing them out. I can get behind that because I do know in IT, you buy some shit and you're like, I don't know what we're doing, but they gave us a good deal and we're going to buy like 20 of these bitches. I don't know what we're going to figure something out. So that I actually follow that one. And then there's like just a giant box of these teleporters and your Team Rocket's just throwing them all over the place. They didn't use the teleporters because they didn't know what they were doing. So it was up to me, 10-year-old John, running around trying to figure out your teleporter situation.
As we navigate through this building, confusing as it is, we'll find the rocket grunts. Obviously, we'll have to battle them. As we make our way up the building, we also find and encounter several terrified employees that are like, oh my god, why is this happening? Which I think is cool. Some of them will like give you stuff or like tell you what's going on in the building. And you'll also run into a bunch of scientists who, the vast majority of them, have turned their back on Silph Co and are now helping Team Rocket.
That actually was the most interesting thing. I was like, okay, what did the president do or what did Silph Co cut that made you so upset that you went to Team Rocket and you were the inside man? And It was a bunch of scientists that did that. So like, what are they doing?
Yeah, I like Giovanni's plans. I think on the surface they look cool. Like merging Team Rocket, like forcefully like acquiring Silph Co would be a benefit to them, right? That if all this technology, I remember someone in the Poké Center in Saffron City talking about, oh man, I wish the Elite Four were here to take out Team Rocket, and it's like, well, they're not, and I don't really know why that is. They don't really feel it's a priority. They just kind of want to stand at their Indigo Plateau and just look out upon the world from there. So I guess it's up to us, again, children.
Children. Is that what the Elite Four is like? Are they like the Hashira from Demon Slayer? Like, but like, is that what the Elite Four actually are? I never really thought about it. I just assumed they were just kind of douches up there, like, oh, we're the best. Come fight us. But are they supposed to be protecting like people, like the police, and they're like a special forces with Pokemon?
You would think, because like the police have shown themselves to be powerless in Cerulean City. They weren't, not even a hint of a policeman patrolling the streets of Saffron.
Right?
So you would think like there'd be some sort of protocol where they'd bring in the top Pokemon trainers in the world, or at least in the region, to come and stop this.
Like, it's
what
back
else
to
are
back.
they doing? Are there really that many people taking the Pokemon League exam that they're just too tied up right now? They just can't. Oh man, that's funny. You'll come to points in Silph Co because I really want to dive into Silph Co. I think they're an interesting company, and there's like they don't really ever dive into it, but there's little things that I just think are cool. Where it's like you come to this room and there's this big desk and there's Pokemon reports lying all over the place. Around they talk about, which we'll talk about later, they are studying Pokeball technology on one of these floors, and they've worked on the ultimate Pokeball that would catch anything. Pokemon Lab created Porygon, the first virtual reality Pokemon. They created a Pokemon, John. What's up with that?
And we still haven't created Pokemon in real life. Now, that one's cool. Like I find that one fascinating that they created Porygon. and it's official in the canon of Pokemon, like in the Pokedex, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And that one's just, it's weird that, hey, we went into virtual reality, created a Pokemon, ripped it from virtual reality, and put it into reality.
Yeah. Which is what the Pokedex entry talks about, that it consists entirely of programming code, and it's capable of moving freely in cyberspace, as you were talking about. One thing that's in future Dex entries that I thought was funny, this Pokemon is copy protected, so it cannot be duplicated by copying. So Porygon is non-fungible. Literally, they put that in there. You can't, non-fungible Porygons.
Nintendo's ahead of its time. The Pokemon Company were ahead of their time, man. Jesus.
Which Pokemon kind of are. It's this thing where it's like every Pokemon has like a unique identifier. It's not on the blockchain, but it's meant to be this thing that like is your unique thing and you can't duplicate it.
I saw that before we traded for my Alakazam, and like I was like, I wondered if I got it back, would it be considered a new Pokemon to me?
You're always the original trainer.
And I'm always the original. Like, I thought it was going to get boosted a little bit. I like, right when we were trading, I was like, I remembered, I was like, oh yeah, that's coded to me in my game. So if I get it back, or when I get it back, it's just my Pokemon. There's no, like, the traded Pokemon get a boosted XP. And Neo never did. And I was like, oh yeah, that's right. Because original trainer says John. That specific Pokemon code is my Pokemon. And that's just fascinating that there is NFTs, quote unquote, in Pokemon.
One little thing that's weird, we talked about Lavender Town last week. One of the things we didn't mention is that the official name raider lives there. And so that's where you can go to change the name of a Pokemon, except a Pokemon that has been traded to you. So like Anne, Maxilla, I couldn't change their nicknames because you gave them that nickname and that's important to them and that will stick with them forever. I kind of love that.
Ben, what if... I think that's great. What if I told you I changed the Pokemon's name?
Oh, all right. Do you want to tell me that now?
How do we feel about that? Yeah, we'll do it right now. Yeah, that's fine. Like
I want you to show your work. I want to know your reasoning.
Okay. I changed Queenie's name.
Okay. I already like where this is going.
I changed Queenie's name. I was on the nose. I 100%. I was like, you know what? We know it's going to become a Nidoqueen. Do I really want it? And I was like, I remember there was a name raider, and we can change the name. And so the idea was, you know what? A little too on the nose. Let me go ahead and change the name of Queenie. And now Queenie is Nyx.
Ooh. Nyx, N-Y-X?
N-Y-X.
N-Y-X, yeah.
N-Y-X. I love that name. I truly love, like, Hades is one of my favorite games of all time. So I was going with kind of that concept of a sort of queen of the underworld, if you will. But then also I like the idea that Queenie or Nyx has spikes, and so like I could just nick people and like death by 1,000 cuts.
Sure, yeah. So
I was like, all right, I'm gonna do this one. I was like, Queenie, it felt good, but then as I was like in my head, as I'm throwing out this Nidoqueen, going Queenie, go, I'm like, kind of dorky. Kind of dorky on that one, I'll be honest.
That happens sometimes, John. As you're going through this Pokemon adventure, sometimes you will have named a Pokemon and you'll be like, as the story develops and as this character comes to life, you're like, that name doesn't really fit you anymore. I'm going to give you a better one. And it happens. I've done it before. It's a beautiful thing, which is really, really cool. I like that you renamed Queenie to Nyx. Right next to that frickin' table of Pokemon reports, amidst all of the Team Rocket grunts and the scientists, there's a juggler.
Thank you. I'm glad you pointed that out.
No real explanation to if he's with Team Rocket, why he's with Team Rocket, why he chooses to fight us.
Is that the reason that other scientist was pissed off? Did Silph Co hire this freaking juggler as a morale booster? Yeah. And you're like, damn dog, I would have rather just taken the pizza. I do not like this juggler, and this is what's pissing me off.
Yeah. Oh, on this floor is where I actually did get the card key. Starting at floor 1 again, I have the card key. It can take. I don't have to use the teleport pads.
Yeah, I did the same thing. Once I got that card key, I was like, all right, back to the Pokemon Center. Let's go through this one by one, get the XP, open everything up, and see what I can find.
I'll tell you, in all these battles, I hinted at it before, I had Maxilla out there in the front, just leading the charge. really just smacking rockets all over the place. Because especially, I had type advantage most of the time. It was like Voltorbs, Nidorans, Coughings and Wheezings, Magnemites, and so like just absolutely bodying these per creatures. And I thought it was really good continuing that story thread you were talking about last week, where you were talking with the Marowak and taking this Cubone and protecting it and then like giving it to me. I was like, okay, let's get some revenge for you. Let's take on the Team Rockets.
There we go. Hell yes.
Let's now get you to protect people who couldn't protect themselves, like your big mom used to do, and now you're going to be this one. Because I love that. And I didn't let... they gain so many levels. Maxilla is so beefy right now, probably the highest level on my team.
Nice.
I didn't let them evolve until they got to the top of Silph Co, because I thought that was just a good moment of like, we stormed the Team Rocket
I love that.
base. Yeah. And in the Pokedex entry for Marowak, not the one in this game, but in future entries, it literally talks about Marowak evolved because it overcame its sadness and it's now toughened up. I love that idea of like,
I love that. That's
yeah,
great.
it's protecting these people. So Maxilla evolved into a Marowak and they're kicking ass. And also, I talked about Liesel burning some rockets last week as well. Liesel's my Vulpix. Liesel evolved as well. She is now a Ninetales.
Nice.
Which is a beautiful Pokemon as well. I didn't want to evolve them either until they learned Flamethrower. And now they do have it, and now they're just kicking ass as well. So that was fun. Another weird thing you'll find in about halfway up the Silph Tower, there's a place you can rest with all these beds.
Yeah.
What are all these beds doing in here?
See, there's the other reason why that scientist was pissed off. Making you sleep at work. That's bullshit.
Nah, bro. I think they're doing like some weird experiments.
I mean, we are in Saffron, and it's psychic, and a lot of the psychic testing in like media is when they're asleep.
Uh-huh.
So like it could be that too.
No, I think it's like darker than that, bro. I think it's like they're doing like human or like Pokemon experimentation, and they need like these subjects to like live here while they do their weird, creepy experiments on them.
So you're thinking Stranger Things, like pushing them to their absolute limits, but because it's probably like for the sake of science, quote unquote, that they're pushing them and they're keeping them there at Silph Co so no one reports anything.
All right, what's next? Oh yeah, we took a nap. We're gonna face our rival. They talk about, haha, I thought you'd turn up if I waited here. I guess Team Rocket slowed you down. Not that I care. I saw you in Saffron, so I decided to see if you got better. And then,
And we fight.
John,
How'd you do, Finn?
you're tough. You've gotten really scary, especially with you have an Alakazam now. That Gyarados is still causing me bother. I brought Gigazorp in there again.
Okay.
And because Gyarados is water flying, that absolutely wrecked him. And Gigazorp is faster as well, so that just cleared it out. Again, I was scared of the Alakazam, so I had to like put it to sleep and like basically disable it because Psychic's kind of overpowered in Gen 1. There's nothing that's really weak to. And I was able to get through this fight okay, but I was like clenching because they're all pretty high level.
Yeah. I think it's funny that me in real life, you and me talking, how close I am paralleling your rival in the game.
In my head, Jerry killed Charlie last week.
Because I was like, yeah, I have a Gyarados. There's Jerry.
Yeah.
I have Neo. There's my Alakazam. I was like, oh shit. Okay, we're kind of lining things up.
It has a Pidgeot. I don't know if Maverick is still in your squad at this point.
Maverick's kind of in a box somewhere right now.
Oh, well, maybe you just realized that Pokemon isn't as good as you were hyping it up to be in episode 1.
Shut up.
Really though? Just Maverick's gone? When did that happen?
Okay. It happened here. It was just one of those things in Silph Co. I was like, I don't know. This is when I really started to kind of put together, like, what do I want the team? Like, every single episode we've been talking, always in the back of my mind, I'm like, all right, what are we going to do as a team? What's going to be the final thing? Not the Elite Four. No. John's not looking at my what's the final team to kick your ass?
Wow.
That's where I'm at.
Wow.
I don't care about what's happening right now.
So were you like basing it on like what you know I have and trying to counter it
Yes.
a little bit? Oh my god,
like,
John.
I'm basing it on our conversations. I'm basing it off of that. Like I don't know what you're gonna pull up. I don't know what you have. I'm also kind of basing it off what I want to have, and so that's kind of where I'm at. I took Mav out because I was like, I need something in here because I did the first 2 floors with Mav, and I was just like, I need a strong fallback. If that's probably gonna be the best way. I need a strong fallback. And so I took Mav out of the team, and I walked in this with Neo, my Alakazam, Jerry, my Gyarados, Nyx, my Nidoqueen. Iggy's still in there because I need to level his ass up. Cash is also in there. And then I was like, okay, I don't know. I have this empty spot. I don't know what to do with it. I started out with Caesar.
Yes.
After I kicked Mav out. And Caesar is my primate. Not my primate, but my Mankey.
Uh-huh.
Caesar got bodied.
Oh. What, because he was just too low level?
It was the throw you in, switch out. That was what I was doing with Caesar. That's what I started doing with a lot of the Pokemon. Like, I need to level you up. I am truly under leveled. Like right now, the top 3. So Neo is probably my highest level at 38. And then everyone else is 32, 33 with maybe Nyx now at like 35. Uh-huh. Like I am barely scratching. Like I was walking into this in the 20s.
Oh.
And I was like,
rival battle?
In the rival battle, yeah.
How's
in the
that
rival
possible?
battle.
Because there's so many fights going up Silph Co.
So I was sharing XP. Because what I was doing is I was using Jared. Like, so what I had was I got to a point where probably every 2 levels in Silph Co, I'd go back down and heal everyone until I got to the place where you could actually take a nap. And then I was like, okay, I still think I like this team, but I'm still trying to find that team chemistry. Mm-hmm. And I've got 3, 4 in there that I'm like, all right, you're 100% in the team, but I need to figure out that 2. And Iggy's kind of on a cusp right now, not because anything more than he's just under level and Ember does shit. But I was like, all right, do I need a fighting type Pokemon? Because for me, I actually went to the fighting gym first before I went to Silph Co. But when we get there, we'll talk about that one. But I just didn't like what I got in the fighting gym. So I was like, what do I do? How do I find that gel? I'm looking for the gel, and I just couldn't do it. So I grabbed Caesar, I threw him in there, and we started kind of in and out. Like he got in, I switched out, and he was leveling up. I got him leveled to, I think everyone's about 25, 27. And then he got Fury swipes. I was like, okay, now we got an attack that actually makes sense to me. And I went in for the Fury swipes. I don't remember what it was. And I swiped, did some damage. I'm like, all right, cool. And then I just got bodied.
So is Caesar okay?
No, Caesar's dead.
Oh.
Caesar's 100% dead.
Oh.
I was like, it was so, this is 100% different than what happened with Freelon. It happened so fast. I was like, oh, fudge.
Was it even a crit, or was it just a normal attack?
I think it was just a normal attack.
Oh.
And I was like, maybe now's not the time to be playing this game.
Yeah.
So, oops. Like, and that's actually how I truly felt. He got just knocked out so fast. I was like, oh. Well, that kind of sucks. I kind of liked him, but I was going to try and get to a primate, but was he really going to be in the final team? I don't know.
This is what I was talking about last week with Indy. It's like, you got to step up to the plate. Those are the stakes.
Yeah. And it wasn't, we weren't too far off on some of the levels when we got there. Like, I'm pretty sure it was that rocket right before we get into the, right after we fight the, each other. And like, I just got knocked down. I was like, oh shit. Okay. Well, that kind of sucks. So I just started switching in and out with Iggy to try and level him up. Because Iggy, we walked in at 25, 26, if I remember correctly. And so like I truly, this was one of the few times like I ran and like run and gun this whole section, but I was scared because I was like, I just do not feel truly prepared for this section.
So Caesar's
dead. Yes. Long live Caesar.
Who replaced him in the team?
Nunu.
Okay.
Nunu. Now, I was like, I need something. Okay. And Nunu is that something with sleep powder. I'm leaning I'm going to show my cards to you. I'm leaning a lot on paralysis because I can neither confirm nor deny that Nyx has body slam.
Yes.
And maybe, possibly, Nyx has earthquake. Yes. I'm just saying.
Yes. Oh,
so
Nyx is a beast.
Nyx is my tank, and Nyx hits so goddamn hard.
Really high attack on Nidoqueen. I was surprised when I saw that. I was like, yeah, I was actually considering bringing one back into my party. It's not going to work out just because of tight balancing, but Nidoqueen, I'm kind of jealous of that, gotta be honest.
I love, like, if I could
I feel
just do
Nyx
like
got her groove back this episode.
She got her groove. Like if it wasn't for Neo being my MVP, Nyx would just, I figured her out. She figured me out, and we're having this conversation and we're gelling. Like between us two, shit's wrecking. I have my top 3 now, and weirdly enough, Iggy is not in that top 3.
All right, so we both beat the rival.
Yes.
And then he's like talking some stuff. He says, by checking my Pokedex, I'm starting to see what's strong and how they'll evolve. I'm going to the Pokemon League to put out the Elite Four. I'll become the world's most powerful trainer. I think we humbled him a bit.
I think so too.
I think he's now looking down on us. He doesn't really get why we're going out of our way to help people along our journey, whereas he's like focusing on becoming the best trainer he can. So I think he was maybe in the Silph Co building. He saw us looking around Saffron City, and he's like, this idiot's going to waste... gonna make all his Pokemon weak fighting these Team Rockets. I'm just gonna show him how dumb that is and just body all his Pokemon. And I think when we showed up, show them that the bonds got stronger, our Pokemon got stronger by helping these people out along our journey. I think he's starting to realize, oh, he maybe has something to this effect. I need to go show him that I'm better than him in any way I can, and the way to do that is the Indigo League. I think he's panicking.
I think it's too, because it's kind of nasty that we go through everything, and then we get to that teleporter, and he's right there. Like, you've already battled a couple Team Rockets, so you can go back and heal back up, or once you take that teleporter, he's there on your ass, ready to go. So, like, I actually agree. Like, he was trying to sucker punch you because you're in Pokemon weak, which actually, I think mine were. I didn't go back and heal, and I still took care of business. So.
Nice. Afterwards, there's just some guy in the room that's like, hey, thanks for helping us out. Here's a Lapras. Yay.
Woo.
You got a water type.
Lapras is, I think it's a beautiful Pokemon. It's really, really cool. What'd you name yours?
I named... Oh, okay, this is a fun one. I named mine Swashbap.
Swash.
So this, I have to give a shout out to my baby nephew, who will frequently face... Well, the dad FaceTimes us. He's not capable of operating FaceTime by himself, but he'll FaceTime us when he's in the bath because it's one of his favorite places to be, and he likes talking to us when he's in the bath. Sure. And so he's just at that age where he's starting to form words. So when he's talking about like washing hair, it's swash and swashing hair. And then the bath is the bap. So Swashbap is what I named this Lapras, just because I think about it as like a... he has a lot of like dino toys in the bath with him because he loves dinosaurs. And like, I imagine Lapras like being one of these bath toys
floating around.
Yeah, so Swashbap.
I love that. That's so cute. Yeah, hell yeah! Protect that Pokemon.
It's going in the box. Safest place for it. But I have had Laprases in my parties before. I think it's a really nice looking Pokemon. It's like it talks about it being like a very intelligent Pokemon and can like understand human speech. And like it's very like empathetic and stuff.
Yeah.
And it also during the beta it was originally called Nessie or Ness, basically because it's the Loch Ness monster, which is was cool. What did you name your Lapras?
I did not name it Nessie. I thought about it and I was like, nah, too on the nose. So I named it Gnar.
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 Gnar. Yeah. Then it's Gnar because that's the you're riding the Gnar in surfing.
Sure. Yeah.
So I always gave Lapras surf. So I was like, okay, well, here's surf. If I do this one, Lapras will get surf. I'm going to call you Gnar. So like shred the Gnar, dog.
Because
Let's go.
it does like to, it mentions that in the Pokedex, but it likes to ferry people across on its back.
Mm-hmm.
So it loves to sail the seas and learn surf and stuff. So yeah. All right. So beat the rival. We make our way to the top floor of Silph Co. We enter the president's office where Giovanni is already there. We can now put an end to his dastardly schemes. He says, the president and I are discussing a vital business proposition. Keep your nose out of grown-up metas or experience a world of pain. And then we fight him. And then he loses because he's not got great Pokemon.
It's kind of shocking how easy, again, Giovanni was with... Actually, I think I pulled Nunu out for this one just to kind of help out. But yeah, it was
that's
all...
good because, well... it's not good or bad because it's ground type, but the Vine Whip and stuff will work.
The Vine
well
Whip
on them,
works really well.
Yeah. And then once you beat him, he says, blast it all, you've ruined our plans for Silph, but Team Rocket will never fall. Never forget that all Pokemon exists for Team Rocket. I must go, but I shall return. He sounds like Al Pacino in my head, that's why I'm doing that voice.
I'm good with it.
Why did we stop his plans? Like, how?
What were the plans?
I think he was trying to strong arm Silph Co into like handing over a bunch of products or money or just acquiring Silph Co outright. I don't think it was ever cleared up what he was exactly trying to do, but that's what I imagine.
Yeah. See, I think you're right because I think if the flow of the story in my head is we were running lotto machines, slot machines. Mm-hmm. That's where they're gaining all their money. And the next town over is what they're trying to do is they're going to buy out Silph Co. Because if they have control of the Pokemon or the Pokeballs, then they're getting cut from the Pokeballs because everyone has to buy them anyway. So they're just kind of getting return on their investment of washing money, getting all those Pokemon that people want at the Rocket Game Corner, using that money to illegitimately buy Silph Co. so that they can have a stake in everything that we pretty much buy as trainers.
Sure. I like to think in my own head that Giovanni had some dirt on Silph Co. This goes back into my theories about Silph Co being a bad company doing weird things. When you save the president, they gift you the previously alluded to Master Ball that can catch any Pokemon without fail. And one of the things he says just like threw me off. He said, you should be quiet about using it.
Yeah.
What's up with that? What if you... They've done something to make this Master Ball happen, just like they did to make Porygon happen. And I don't think it was totally above board.
They probably... You're right. They probably didn't. So it's like, shh, you don't have this and don't tell people that you have this.
Yeah. Imagine if Rival John or Rival Finn knew that we had a Master Ball. He'd be so jealous.
Yeah. He would actually try and like tackle us and take our Master Ball away from us.
He would, yeah. So we've saved Silph Co. Team Rocket bounces out of Saffron City, and the town returns to normal. There are people rejoicing and basically saying how nice it is to have their town return to safety. And this is the first time I really think we start to feel like a hero, where people start like congratulating us and telling us how much we saved them, which I think is cool. And you have a visible impact on the world now that you can access new areas that the rockets are gone. I think it's cool. I think we're sort of coming into our own. We're maybe getting a bit of fame and notoriety out there. So that's cool.
It's that like we never started out to be the hero, but that tale or that the journey got dropped onto us. And I kind of really like that feeling. Like, no, you don't want to be the hero, but if the time comes that you have to step up to do it, then you're there. And I think that's kind of what's happening right now.
When the crime enforcement and Elite Four fail you, it's time to step up and take care of business yourself. So
someone call the 10-year-old boy or girl who can do this for us.
So we've done Silph Co. We've moved out of the rockets. We can now move on to our own personal business. Taking on what the reason we came here to do, go to the gym. But it's weird, John. In Saffron, there are 2 gyms. Or should I say, there's 1 gym and 1 dojo.
Yes.
So let's start with the fighting dojo then. Next door, was formerly the gym of Saffron City, but lost its official gym status to the psychic trainers next door. And the fighting dojo is just now a training ground for those who specialize in fighting type Pokemon. But there's no badge there. There's no official reason to go there. The Pokemon League recognizes the psychic gym next door as the gym of Saffron City. Isn't that cool?
I like the story building on that one, and it kind of does hint at fighting is weak to psychic.
Yeah.
So like, there's two stories happening right there. But yeah, I love that. Oh, if the world of Pokemon were real, or just if we wanted to make a like multiplayer Pokemon game, then you and I could drop a gym in insert town name, and as long as we take on the gym that's already there, we become the new gym. And I was like, that's kind of cool, because that means your gym membership, I guess, or your gym leader is never safe.
Yeah.
And so they have to keep on training as well. And I kind of really, really like that idea.
It's kind of weird because I always kind of thought as the gym leaders is holding back a little bit, right? I've always thought of the gyms as more of like an exam to allow you to progress to the next stage, rather than these gym leaders putting their all into it. Like, just for the sake of like them not having 6 Pokemon all the time is a bit weird.
Yes.
So I always thought of it that way, but I do like the idea of this turf war between these two rival gyms that are next door to each other. The turf war gets settled, the Psychics win out, and the Pokemon League Council is just like, all right, you're the winner, you're the gym now.
Thank you for filing all the paperwork.
Yeah. So, yeah, we can battle our way through this dojo anyway. We can take on a posse of black belts. They all fighting type Pokemons, Machops and such. A few Primeapes, a little bit nasty. You probably just waltzed through with Neo. Not a bit of
not even an issue.
Yeah, for me it was Anne, because part poison type made fighting not very effective.
Okay,
and she was putting people to sleep. Anne had a good day.
Nice.
And once you get through all those black belts, you end up at the Karate Master, the leader of the dojo, and you fight him and his fighting Pokemon. Kind of a pseudo gym leader battle, but not really.
Yeah.
Yeah, you had no problem with this, I'm sure.
No problem at all. I was kind of shocked.
After defeating the Karate Master, they beseeched us not to take their symbolic emblem, which is apparently very important to them. I guess it's like their replacement for a badge. And if we do agree, which we have to because the game told us to, as a reward, we'll be able to choose one of 2 prized fighting Pokemon to claim as our own. So there's 2 Pokeballs at the end of this gym. You get to see what you're going to get either way. What did you pick as your prize?
I will Hitmonlee. I usually do Hitmonchan. I like Hitmonchan, but just something about having Hitmonlee made a little more sense to me. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I'll just go with him. I named him Tucker. There's an NFL kicker on the Baltimore Ravens, I believe. His name is Justin Tucker. I've had him on my fantasy football league for a long time. I haven't played fantasy football in a little bit, but usually I pick him up. He is one of the more accurate kickers. So Hitmonlee being the kicker, I felt right to calling him Tucker in homage to Justin Tucker.
I see. That's good. I went a similar. I also got Hitmonlee. I think that was kind of predictable if you were if you heard me talking last week about how I hate Pokemon wearing clothes.
Yes.
Hitmonchan pisses me off. Hitmonlee, I think, is a poor design as well. That's not a Pokemon I would ever have in my party either, but at least it looks like a creature. So I just don't like the fact that these 2 Pokemon, it's like one punches and one kicks, and that's their whole thing. So I picked Hitmonlee. It'll probably live in the box forever, but I thought I better name it something. RVD is what I named this Hitmonlee. This is another wrestling thing, just to put that out there. Rob Van Dam is one of my favorite wrestlers from the 90s, and the company called ECW, and his whole deal was he used kicks a lot. He used to kick people with chairs. He used to do spinning kicks, and so when I thought of kicks, I immediately thought of Rob Van Dam. We've taken one gym. We sort of know what we're I feel like we had to take on the fighting dojo first, just to prepare ourselves for what the psychic gym were able to put down so disgracefully. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now we know what we're dealing with. These guys are chumps. Let's go into the psychic gym. And John, maybe you weren't as scared because you had Neo, but I was terrified of this gym.
Really?
Yeah. Psychic is so strong in Gen 1.
What if I told you it wasn't as easy as I thought it was going to be? Because
Ooh.
I'll be honest, I had big dick energy walking into this with Neo.
I like the sound of that. The Saffron City gym is home to psychic trainers along with their young, talented leader, Sabrina. I think it's interesting the way all the other trainers in this gym talk about Sabrina, where it's like, yeah, she's young, but she's awesome and she's really talented. She's had psychic powers ever since a young age. They really give you this like aura. And we talk about
like you're in the presence of someone, and it, like Sabrina is that like, oh, we got to stop and look and pay attention and be there in that moment.
And yeah, like you're teleporting around these teleport paths trying to find Sabrina first of all, and you have to fight all these trainers as well. So I was a bit worried about this gym, especially for Sabrina, because I knew Anne wouldn't help me out too much because part poison type, she'll get wrecked. Maxilla is very, very good, and I probably would have put it out there, except her special defense isn't very high. So it's probably going to get wrecked by a lot of these special psychic attacks too. I had Gigazorp, who was kind of good, but I didn't really trust him because he's kind of new to the party still. He's kind of still getting his feet. So the Pokemon who escorted me through this gym was Lae'zel, my Ninetales.
Nice.
Purely because of the strength of Flamethrower, and even more important than that, the speed it had. It was able to put Confuse Ray on basically every Pokemon that Sabrina could throw out there.
Ooh.
And I just got lucky with the dice rolls that Alakazam kept hitting itself. It would miss a turn, and I'd just keep battering it with a Flamethrower, and Lae'zel absolutely wrecked this gym. I was so happy with how she did.
Oh, Finn, we got to talk.
No.
We got to talk,
Don't
man.
talk to me. Don't talk to me like this.
I got to talk to you, man.
Don't
I gotta talk to
use
you.
this tone of voice.
I know, I'm sorry, but I have to. I have to talk to you. Like I said, I walked into this just big dick energy. I was like, I'm going to wreck shop. I've got Neo. We're good. I made it by the skin of my effing teeth. So here's what happened. The psychic on psychic attacks really didn't do much. So the psychic attack from that first Kadabra didn't do much. And obviously my Psybeam didn't do much. My Seismic Toss was what really was getting me through this. Until they threw actually like Confusion Ray at me. And I couldn't for the life of me get a hit off. I kept on hitting myself.
Yeah, really annoying.
It was, that's what really kind of messed me up. And I just kept on rotating everyone out, and like, it was always confusion first. It was confusion. And I was like, all right, what do I do? And I had, thankfully, I kind of bounced back and forth between different Pokemon. The first couple of them were fine. And then it was just the last two, if I remember correctly, just really kind of started messing me up because of that confusion. I'd throw someone back in. Oh, they're confused. It's really interesting with Iggy. Iggy's only confused now for one turn. Like, I watched that happen, and I was like, all right, he's confused, and now he's not. Like, I'd get it, and it'd say Ignatius is confused, and then I would hit Ember, and it's like, hey, Iggy's not confused anymore. Here you go. I was like, okay, Iggy and I are gelling. That's cool. It was when Neo got confused, and I threw a Seismic Toss at myself. That got scary.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, shit. Did John go back and get a lot of lemonade? Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Did I just sit there hitting A, getting a lot of lemonade? I did that. Well, and I use that for everyone else because I have Recover on Neo. But that was just, I had to wait for him to get unconfused. But it was a weird struggle that I did not expect between Jerry. Jerry has Thunderbolt. I'll just be honest with you. Jerry has Thunderbolt. I'm wrecking shop with Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry's great until Jerry gets confused and uses Thunderbolt on himself. I was missing turns. It was confusion. I'd hit myself, and then they would hit me with something.
Yeah.
And Jerry, I believe, got it hit, and I think it crit, and I was like, oh shit, Jerry, no. And it stopped at 5, and I was like, I gotta get you out now. And so I threw Nyx in there, and I body slammed. I got body slam off pretty fast, and that actually really helped with Paralyze.
Yes.
Paralyze is what saved my ass in this.
Because it slows them down. It means you can get a move off before they can confuse you again.
Yeah. And that's, I paralyzed. Earthquake, switched back out. I think that Alakazam took all four. I'm saying all four of my Pokemon. It took Neo, Jerry, Nyx, and Iggy to beat this Pokemon because it was just switching out, trying to find someone who will not be confused to get an attack off while I'm also trying to heal everyone. And it was a lot more than I was anticipating. I came away, no one died, but we got close.
Thank God. You were the way you were talking leading up to that fight. I thought for sure someone's gone. You had Neo in the background of the TV. I thought, is that the end of Neo? Was this?
Nope. Thankfully, Neo's the MVP with Nyx second. But it was one of those fights I was just like, I didn't think this would be that hard. And it pushed back a lot harder than I was anticipating.
Yeah. One of the channeler trainers, as you're on your way to Sabrina, says, is like, in a battle of equals, the one who has the greater will win the fight. So focus on winning with Sabrina. And I think maybe Sabrina had a little bit of a hot head coming into this too. I think she was maybe a little overconfident about the type advantage she had with the fighting gym. I think she thought she was hot shit. And then once we came in here with different types, a greater will, knowing what we're up against with the psychics, I think we humbled her a little bit as well. So that's 5 badges.
5 down. Hell yes. Officially halfway through.
Yeah. It's crazy. I can't believe we're this far already, but it's just going on a pace. And so yeah, we're heading off. That's the end of this episode. Next time, we'll be heading off to Fuchsia City, and we're going to visit that via Cycling Road. So we're going down the left.
Oh yeah, that's right.
We're going to battle some tough dudes while doing cool tricks on our bicycle. And then we're going to have to visit Fuchsia City's Safari Zone to see what kind of crazy Pokemon are in there. And we'll round it off with a showdown in Fuchsia's gym with Koga and his poison Pokemon. We'll have all of that and more on the next episode of Now to Play Pokemon Red and Blue. Meanwhile, John's going to tell you about some cool places you can go to check out some other stuff in the meantime.
You should check out all the other stuff where we're at. That is Now to Play and all the other podcasts that CouchCapades does. If you want to listen to them, you can find them every place that podcasts are at. If you want to see our beautiful faces, though, come over to youtube.com/CouchCapades. There's the podcast. There are live streams. There are Let's Plays. And then on social media, just look up at CouchCapades, and I'm sure you're going to find us almost anywhere. That's pretty much it. Finn, it has been an adventure so far, and I don't think it's going to get any easier. I'm just going to level. That's kind of my plan for this one, because I know I'm walking in poison with Neo should just perfectly fine. So I'm going to do my damnedest to just bring everyone up, and hopefully next time we talk, I have a Charizard. I don't know.
I implore you to give Iggy a chance. Let Iggy learn Flamethrower, get it up to that point, and you'll turn around on Iggy real quick.
Yeah. I like I said, I'm looking at what you have, what I want to play with, and how fun our last battle is going to be. But yeah, I'm not saying I don't love Iggy. I love Iggy. It's just meant to be
a fun bonus thing. It's not meant to be this. You're scaring me now.
Oh, it's going down! Are you kidding me?
It's just meant to be a little celebration. Hey, we beat the Nuzlocke. We're just going to have a good time and share each other's teams. I didn't know you were taking it this seriously. Oh my God.
Take it seriously.
All right.
Why wouldn't I?
Then now, I turn my cap backwards and we're ready to go.
All right.
Yeah, we're going. It's going to be a brawl.
All right, I want people to talk about our battle like people talk about Ash's final battle, all right? That's what I want until we go and do another Nuzlocke sometime down the road.
So we're going to make progress on that next time.